Did you know if you have poor posture that you actually can decrease your strength and your ability to lose fat? So let me explain on this. So today we're going to go a little bit higher in depth and we're going to try to kind of explain sarcomeres. This is going to be a little bit difficult, but I'm going to try to make it where everybody can understand it, from the personal trainer out there helping their clients to the person that's getting help. So sarcomeres are contractile proteins of the muscle. So going into the microscopic aspects of the muscles, sarcomeres are what cause contraction, shortening of the muscle. So I'm not going to go too far in depth on how all that works, but how that affects with posture and muscular imbalances. So posture is just muscular imbalance issues. So muscular imbalances is meaning that you either have over tight muscles and overstretched muscles pulling on the joint, so or not pulling on the joint. So for me, I have a posture deviation of what's called forward shoulders or rounded shoulders. So my shoulders are forward. So what is causing that is my pectoralis major muscle is over tight over here, shortened and over tight and overactive, and that's pulling my shoulder forward. My back muscles, mainly my rhomboids and medium traps that pull my shoulders back, are overstretched and they're allowing those muscles to go forward. So obviously that puts our joints at a bad position, and when people think of posture, they're always talking about injury prevention and not getting injury. But what this relates to, as far as our sarcomeres goes, is this actually overstretches them or overlaps our sarcomeres. So how our contractions work is all these guys, this is called your myosin and your actin, okay? So these are muscles, and what happens is when you have a contraction, these slide over each other and they actually shorten the muscle. So this is called the sliding filament theory, because it's still somewhat theorized, or the sliding filament model. So these sarcomeres, to have optimal, they have to go across each other. So what I kind of think of these guys, this is your myosin, it's a big band. This is actin, it's thin. These are little Z lines, okay? These are little myosin cross bridges, and these guys really want to touch the actin. It's one of the body's biggest love story. These guys are wanting to get in there, they're wanting to touch the actin, and so they're being chaperoned, the chemicals are released, and then these guys get to go ahead and touch the actin. So when they do, they're going to touch here, and they're actually going to row like a bunch of rowers and pull these together, which is going to shorten the arm. So what happens when we have overstretched muscles, we're going to think about all these guys as like being in a rowboat canoeing, okay? So overstretched ones is going to be a bunch of like canoers in a boat, but as you see, they're not actually touching the actin. They all want to. All these myosin heads want to touch it, but these guys are actually not touching. So when the overstretched ones, they're too far apart, so a lot of these cross bridges never get to touch and pull and row that back. So that's like having a bunch of rowers in a boat and only like 2 of them actually touching water, while all the other ones are missing everything. They're not touching anything. So you can see that those rowers wouldn't have very much strength. If you had, out of 5 rowers, only had 2 of them rowing, they're not going to have a lot of force. That boat's not going to move very forcefully or not have very much power forward. Where you have tight muscles, so this would be like my rhomboids, you have tight or overlapping muscles, when those muscles are pulled forward, it's going to tighten and pull all these together. So that would be like having all those rowers, all 5 are now touching the water, but they're only moving like this, because there's not that much room to pull forward. They don't have to stretch that far. So they're all rowing here, which you can see, you're not going to go very far if you have 5 rowers just doing this, right? You have a neutral or optimal. That's when the body is in nice alignment. The muscles are supposed to be where they're at. And you have all these rowers that are all touching the water. They're getting a nice little stretch and pull. So a neutral or even a slightly stretch, like during dynamic movements or range of motion exercises or some corrective exercise that will allow the muscle to stretch just slightly, is going to get all those rowers, are all going to touch water, are all going to pull together. What happens is you're going to have a lot more powerful force contraction. If you had all these guys going against each other in a rowboat, this one would dominate, because all the rowers would have the oars in the water, they're all pulling together, they're all synchronizing, and they're using a lot of power. They're getting full range of motion. This one would win, so this one actually have the most force. But if you're actually creating the most force, every time one of these rowers go and do that, they use ATP or energy. So this one's also going to use the most ATP, hence calories. So these guys are going to burn the most calories. They're also going to have the most power and strength. So when it comes to actually lifting weight and those things, if you have either overstretched muscles, which are going to be weak and not be able to have very much strength, or overlapping short, tight muscles, which which are not going to produce very much power, this is going to limit how much strength that you're actually going to have and how many calories you're going to burn. So by doing postural analysis, movement screens, proper stretching, and corrective exercise, you can get your body into a neutral alignment and actually produce a lot more strength. So your bench press is going to go up, your squat's going to go up, all your lifts are going to improve, and you're actually going to burn a lot more calories. So if you have a weight loss goal, you're going to get your results a lot better. So what you want to do is you want to stretch the overlapping tight muscles like my chest to get it to neutral, and you want to strengthen and re-educate these muscles because they're not getting the response they need to, and teach these muscles to be a little better and actually shorten and tighten these back up. So you get everything back in neutral position, you're going to decrease injury, you're going to feel a lot better, you're going to have better form, and you're going to lift a lot more and lose a lot more weight. So very, very important to get your posture and movement in alignment. And so I suggest either learning how to do that or seeing a professional that can actually help you do that.